We're going to go ahead and start the meeting. I'd like to call this meeting, 32nd annual meeting, to order. I'd like to thank Home Cooking for the meal. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd like to call on Leon Haverkamp to give us notice of the meeting.
It is my job to tell you that members have been duly notified of the annual meeting, and I declare a quorum is present.
Thank you, Leon. The minutes of last year's meeting are in the folders in front of you on the tables. I'd like to ask, is there any additions or corrections to the minutes? I'd like to ask for a motion for approval. I have a second.
I'll second that.
Jeff and Marcy. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? I'm going to give a little president's report. It's been another successful year. Thanks to all our donors, the people that applied for grants and scholarships. Without you, this wouldn't all be possible. I would like to thank all the board members, and most of all Tori, for the work that they put in, making STEP function as it does. Everyone's effort make Nemaha County a better place to live. If you know of a project, tell them to check out STEP. We have grants available. And if you know of a senior in high school, please let them know, check out our scholarships. Everything's online now, and it's easy to access. And if not, talk to one of the board members or talk to Tori. We'll help you through it. We also have a catastrophic medical fund. If you know of anybody that's needing help with that, to contact one of the board members or contact Tori, we can help with that. It might be a fit for everybody, but we can make a lot of things work. At this time, I'd like to call on Tim Reddinghouse, Treasurer, to come over and go over the financials, but I think we got something else to do here first. Need to announce all the board members. I'm Dan Hyman, I'm the president. Maggie Greer is the vice president. She's not here, she's in Florida. Tim Reddinghouse, would you stand? He's treasurer. Leon Haverkamp, secretary. Board member Anissa Bloom. Board member John Lehman is in Arizona. Dustin Walters had a shoulder surgery, so he's missing tonight. Stacy Cordy. Bonnie Meeks. Kevin Felkamp. Tammy Mars. And Renee Meyer. Thank you, board. I'd like to recognize Tori Jost, our executive director. She's the one that makes this whole thing roll. Thank you, Tori. I'd like to recognize Bonnie Meeks. She's our bookkeeper. She keeps us in line. She's our hall monitor. I'd like for all the past board members and executive directors, if there are any here, stand and be recognized. Thank you. like to introduce Tim Reddinghouse, the treasurer, to go over financials. Tori's got something she's doing.
Okay. I'll introduce Tim here in just a second, but I'm going to go through this first. So, my name is Tori Jones. I've been introduced several times here. So, I would like to introduce you to Pekka Kucha, a Japanese presentation style, which means chit-chat. It would be wonderful to share that our foreign exchange student this summer taught me this, but he didn't. He was very good at origami. Now sit back and enjoy the show. So Stepopoly, where thoughts become reality. Tonight you see the game Monopoly all around the room. This may bring back childhood memories as a kid of board, players, utilities, pieces, including the buildings, houses, and hotels, money, railroads, avenues, community chest, and so forth. The object of the game is to buy and rent or sell properties so profitably that one becomes the wealthiest player and eventually the winner. Just a second here. It's a time deal. Just like I'll pick it back up. My slides. We'll try that again. Okay, so where does the game begin? At the start. So let's begin our round of Stepopoly, guided by 3 P's: passion, people, and partnership. Passion. The STEP Foundation began 32 years ago by passionate people. Some of them are here tonight. They dreamed of what the future might look like here in Nemaha County and saw the need for thriving communities, which included good parks and good parks with playground equipment, AEDs, library updates, helping those with dementia and catastrophic illnesses, and so much more. They gave their time, talents, and money to invest in STEP. In fact, the acronym STEP means striving to ensure progress. These individuals and local businesses knew the power of working together to make Nemaha County a great place to live, work, and give. They were the start of the Stepopoly board. You know, the collect $200 as you pass go. I'm going to take just a brief second here and throw out a little joke. So why did the Community Foundation always win at Monopoly? Because while everyone else was collecting rent, they were giving back and building boardwalks for the whole community. So like Community Chest, the Mary Cotton Public Library was able to tap into STEP for assistance. As people moved to the digital library age, broadband service in some areas of Nemaha County is sketchy. So getting reliable internet had been a problem for rural families with school-aged children. Through a STEP grant, the Mary Cotton Public Library was able to provide mobile internet devices. These are known as MFIs, to help families of school-aged children access reliable internet service. Another chance for STEP to serve Nemaha County happened in the form of the Leonard and Thelma Schmelzli Fund. This fund started 20 years ago to support the Nemaha County Training Center, which is now being called the Best Life Community Services of Nemaha County. This endowed fund was set up to assist those with Down syndrome. What a wonderful way to support a worthy Nemaha County organization through the annual distribution, which helps programs and people. Another electric way STEP was able to assist was at the Bay Level Ball Fields. Through a grant, the outdated and no longer available lights at the ball field were replaced with cost-efficient lights and power supplies. What an incredible way to help the youth at the ball fields. Speaking of P, the second P is people. Like the players' tokens, no one knows how they will fare while they play the game. And life is like that. According to the most recent census, 10,114 people live in Nemaha County. A pharmaceutical rep, farmer, businesswoman, agronomist, and engineer were born and raised in Nemaha County on a small farm outside of Bern. Excuse me. They grew up gathering eggs from their chickens, raising pigs and cattle, playing in the barn, walking Milo, and all the things that farm kids did. Fast forward many years, they lived and worked across the country and internationally. Their parents eventually grew old and passed away. These siblings were grateful for their upbringing in Nemaha County and wanted to honor their parents, so they turned to STEP. They set up an endowed fund that would give back to local communities they were raised in, leaving a lasting legacy for generations to come. In the Stepopoly world, we would call that an avenue, establishing a path to provide now and in the future. Thank you to the Hecht family. Many of you probably knew Glenn J. Meyer from Baileyville. Glenn was an active STEP board member who served on the Capital Campaign Committee. He was a bachelor who was passionate about helping others by giving to the local schools, communities, and hospitals. Glenn graciously left $100,000 in his estate to the STEP Foundation. He saw the needs and loved the work the foundation does. The Glenn J. Meyer Advisory Fund has funded numerous projects, including AEDs, the greenhouse at Nemaha Central High School, park improvements, picnic tables, ball field equipment, playgrounds, a geriatric mannequin for nurses training. We are thankful Glenn thought ahead and planned his moves strategically. The final P is partnership. STEP offers a partnership with individuals, families, organizations, and communities. The endowed or expendable funds are avenues to fulfill the dreams and passions previously mentioned. STEP is made up of 12 board members who actively serve in communities throughout the county. We stay in the game to work with you to make your thoughts, dreams, and passions become a reality. When we establish a fund with you, providing grants to those worthy projects and causes, we see the communities grow and thrive, which makes us all winners. So you don't have to give a lot of money to make a difference. I had a couple different slides here real quick before I bring up Tim of a few of the parades that we did this year, the Seneca and Sabetha parade, and the Centralia and Golf parade. So I will now bring up Tim Rottinghouse, our treasurer.
Okay, basically there's our statement of activity. We have revenues this year. The $64,000 was money that we received from the Patterson Foundation to assist us with payroll and a few technology issues. So we're thankful to them. Direct public support is, I guess I split that into two categories. One is match day money. That amounted to about $244,000. That was raised on that day and actually the months preceding that. The balance of that, which is $259,000, was from donations throughout the community. So we thank everyone for that, for all of that. Investments, we had good earnings again this year. December was down a little bit, so it kind of took a little haircut off the top. But we had $171,000 in earnings, so it was a great year for investments. Program income is basically our annual dues. We appreciate everybody for being a member. It kind of helps cover some of our administrative costs, so we appreciate all that. All total, we have revenues of $751,000. As you can see, that's about $136,000 more than the prior year, so we're obviously heading in the right direction. I think the year before it's quite a bit less, but earnings were a little bit of an issue that year. But so it's been a great year. From a expense side of the ledger, awards and grants, those are basically the general grants that we issue out for playgrounds, for parks, any type of grant that's awarded that people apply for. The restricted disbursements, I guess I put those into 3 categories. There's about $17,500 was in scholarships that came out of there. There's about $25,000-ish, I believe, was in catastrophic medical fund money that was paid out. And the balance of it was primarily through pass-throughs. What I mean by that is like Knights of Columbus has a fund, and they raise funds, and then when they need some for improvements or those types of things, then they withdraw those. Golf course has a fund. The library has a fund. We've got a lot of funds. If you look through those funds that are in your deal there's a lot of them are just pass-through funds. So the balance of that is pass-through funds that organizations were able to raise money through us. The contract service is basically accounting. It's getting our taxes done, doing our accounting. The next 2 categories are just our general operating expenses, the operations and other types of expense. That's just photocopies, basically just expenses, anything that we've done to prepare literature for tonight, anything of that sort. And then we have payroll expense that covers Tori's salary. And the bottom line item down there is administrative fees, and that's basically the fees that we pay to the trust company to manage our investments. So at the end of the day, our net income was $366,000, so it's been a very, very good year. So the next one, balance sheet. Our bank account is not really $381,000. We don't have that in checking. We have, if you look at the previous year, it's $44,000. That's roughly what should be in our checking account. There's an extra $100,000 in there that the check did not arrive at the trust company till after the first of the year, so it kind of inflated those numbers, so it's less than that. We also made a move here a year ago to get our CDs out of the trust company so that we're just taking care of those ourselves. The advantage of having them in the trust company is it puts everything in one spot, and it's a lot easier to see and to manage and that type of thing. The disadvantage is it's harder to pull them out, cash them in, get them reset up. Tori hates that because it's a challenge. It's a lot simpler now because we can just go to the bank, cash it in, and either rewrite it there or rewrite it at wherever we get the best bid. But we have about $240,000 that are actually CDs that we carry as investments. The $84,000 are pledges that have been pledged to us that are in receivable at this time, and then the other assets are our investments with the trust company. So, and they vary from equities to fixed assets, and we still have a little bit of CD money in that portion for the general fund. So we have no liabilities, we have no debt, so our total assets are also our equity, so just shy of $2.8 million, which is a growth of the $366,000, which is what we're showing we had for net income. So again, it's been a great year. That's kind of a list of our funds. I know on probably the sheet you have, it's probably a little bigger than the one I have, but so maybe you can see it. We have 33 funds, including the general fund. We've continued to grow. like I say, there's a good list of it in there. I guess if anybody has any questions on any of those funds at any point in time, you can ask one of the board members, ask myself. But like I say, it's grown well. There should actually be another $100,000 in there if the check would have arrived. So again, that's putting us at a record number again. So like I say, we are growing at a good pace. One more. Okay, I want to talk just a little bit about Match Day. This 2024 was our 4th annual Match Day. We had 32 funds. We raised $244,000, which was about $10,000 more than the prior year. We had 416 individual gifts, which was an increase of 35. The average was slightly down, but not a lot. But basically, it was a great year. Like I said, the year before was 234, the year before was 133, and the year before that was 105. So in 4 years, Match Day has generated a little over $700,000 for this organization. So it's been a great move. It was an idea Tori brought to the table, and it's panned out very well. So I appreciate everybody for being involved in that. That is. You can go back a spot. There's really 2 aspects to Match Day. One of them is on that day, people come in and give. But there's a long preparation for that. To match people's money that come in on that day, somehow you got to have money to match it. And so you've got to find donors in the preceding months to do that. One of our avenues to do that is to have step-up supporters. We've got step-up supporters. Last year we had 31 to be a step-up supporter, and we welcome anyone that would like to join that group. But you basically donate $1,000, and that money goes toward helping match money on that day. In addition to that, we had several larger donors that are also on that list, but they made some larger donations. We also had Patterson organization that granted us $70,000, which is a huge help. The concern down the road is going to be is Patterson will probably not do that forever. Our guesstimation is that they may do it another year, and then probably we're going to have to start fending for ourselves a little more. So we're either going to need to find larger corporate donors, or we're going to have a lot more people like you that will give a little bit just to help make that day successful. But it's been great to this point. And like I said, we appreciate everybody that's involved in it, and we definitely appreciate everybody that shows up on that day and donates money on that day. I mentioned there was a couple donors that gave larger amounts. One of them is Rainbow. They are a step-up supporter, but they also made us a nice substantial donation to help out on that day. Whoops, I'm backwards, aren't I? Yeah, sorry. Which one are you on? Okay, the other one's Ag Partners. They did the same thing. We very much appreciate those. We had a third one. It was an anonymous donor. So we had three good donors there. We also had an additional donor. Was Countryside Feeds. They really didn't make the sheet because they made the donation on that day with the intent of down the road doing it ahead of time so that funds were there. But also CoBank matched that $4,000, so it was an $8,000 investment into the deal. So we greatly appreciated that too. As far as 2025, we will have Match Day number 5. We started in 21 so that we could remember which one we were on. So it's 25, so this is 5. But we will have it in August. And so we will probably, after this, give ourselves a break for a month or two of not being crazy, and then start in raising money for Match Day. And so again, if anyone here or you know of someone that you think would be interested in being a step-up supporter or making a donation towards that, that's a big part of what it takes. If you can't raise, if you don't have money ahead of time, it's not going to work. I think last year we had $110,000 in match money, and so $134,000 we actually raised on that day. But you got to stomp the ground pretty hard to get the money so that you can do that. So anyway, but we're pretty excited about that, and we're hoping it goes as well as it has in the past. I have no reason to believe it won't. As far as donating, obviously you can do it in cash. If you have some other avenues to do it, sometimes there are some huge tax angles. You can, instead of writing a check for $1,000, you can give $1,000 worth of grain and get a tax angle out of it. Your tax angle is you don't have to pay tax on sell the grain, pay the tax, and then donate $1,000. So you can get a little angle there. You can do it out of required minimum distributions from your retirement accounts. There's a big variety. I believe there's a laminated sheet on each table that kind of talks about some things that can be done. If you ever have any interest in any of those types of things, talk to myself, talk to Tori, talk to your financial advisor, because they can help you out in that type of thing. But again, we really appreciate what everybody has done in here. Everybody in here is obviously a supporter of STEP, and you guys are the ones that made this possible. Am I out of slides? Okay, I got it, Tori.
Now I'd like to call Leon Haberkamp with the nominating committee report.
We need to approve 3 board members tonight. The first is Rick Smith. Appreciates the opportunity to serve on the STEP Foundation board and to contribute to the success and sustainability of Neenah County. Rick and his wife Shelley live in Sabetha. Following college, they lived and worked in Lawrence and Kansas City area before making the decision to move back to their hometown to be closer to family and to raise their kids in a small town environment. Their children, Laurel, Ainsley, and Harper, all graduated from Sabetha schools. Rick attended the University of Kansas and currently works for KSI. He dedicates time to church activities, has volunteered his time with multiple community organizations over the years, and enjoys a few outdoor activities in his free time. He is a multi-year winner for the World's Greatest Dad Award and has the t-shirts and coffee mugs to prove it. Our second nominee is Stacy Cordy, resides outside of Seneca near Kelly. She grew up near Vermilion and attended school at Centralia. She graduated from Washburn University with an Associates of Science degree. She has worked for various companies in the Seneca area for the past 30 years. She has always enjoyed meeting new people and getting to know them. She is married to David Cordy. They have 3 children, Cameron, Taylor, and Lucas. In her spare time, she enjoys spending time with her family. She is a member of St. Bede's Catholic Church of Kelly, where she has been involved with the Pastoral Council and Altar Society. She is very passionate about making our rural communities thrive and grow. Stacy began serving on the STEP board in April 2021 when she was appointed by the board to fill the unexpired term of King Hagedorn. She is enthusiastic about the impact that STEP makes in our communities. Our third nominee is Tim Rottinghouse, grew up on a farm north of Baylorville, where he currently resides after earning a degree in agricultural economics at Kansas State University in 1986. He took a job with Farmer Home Administration in Hays, Kansas. In 1992, he moved back to the area and was employed by Citizen State Bank, which is now United Bank and Trust. He has served as a lender for the bank his entire career and was promoted to community bank president in 2016. In addition to his banking career, he is involved in a farming operation with his wife and 2 sons. Tim married Jane Matheson of Axtell in 1987. Jane retired last May from a career as a teacher and IT coordinator at Frankfurt Schools. They have 3 children. Christopher of Seneca, who works for KDOT, is married to Sarah Mackey, and they have a son and a daughter. Nicole of Lenexa is employed by RX Savings Solutions and is married to Troy Beal, and they have a son. Dustin of Seneca is employed by UMB, is married to Kara Wagner, and they have 2 daughters. Tim's involvement in the community includes serving on the Seneca Chamber of Commerce, including offices of Treasurer and President, and serving on the Sacred Heart Parish Council. Has been a member of the Hayes and Seneca JCs, including officers of Treasurer and President, the Balo Knights of Columbus, and the Nemaha County Catbackers, where he is the acting treasurer. And no mention of Greatest Dad Awards on that.
We will have an election of officers later in the meeting. Now I'd like to call upon Tori for a PowerPoint presentation. Oh, is there any old business to be brought before the board? Is there any new business to be brought before the board? If not, I'll call upon Tori.
I'd just like to first, before I do this part, thank Nemaha Valley Community Hospital for sharing the projector with us tonight, Ty Anderson and Mark Wessel for helping set up the audio video and tear it down here after a bit. And a quick thank you to Gwen and Greta. These are Maggie Greer's daughters. They helped collate all the packets for us tonight. So that was a fun project with them the other day. Anyway, on May Day, the STEP Foundation, along with the Dickinson County Community Foundation, co-hosted a regional event here. It's the KCF is what it's short for. Around 50 people from neighboring community foundations came. We had the event at the Wilson Croft Event Center from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Attendees met with the KCF director, Christy Tustin. She's new. Emily Masters from the program officer from Patterson family was here as well. And lunch was a taco bar. In the afternoon, we broke out into groups and we talked about a variety of topics from finance to communications and so forth. And it was a great day of learning and with peer conversation. So here's some photos from that day as well. And we also had several grants. Tim mentioned this a little bit ago. Ethan Jost, my 7th grader at Nemaha Central Elementary, created a video that I want to share with all the grants. Instead of me talking about them all, we're going to watch the video here. And then in 2024, we had 2 new funds established. They were the Nemaha County Free Fair Board Fund and the Hecht Family Fund. The Nemaha County Free Fair Board is working on plans to build a new horse barn, and the Hecht family established this other fund in memory of Francis and Sylvia, and they are planning to assist the Bern and Seneca communities through grant making. And Tim mentioned this earlier, the Catastrophic Medical Fund gave $24,780 in 2024 to assist those struggling with catastrophic illnesses. That could be cancer, stroke, heart attack. Recipients are eligible for $3,000 of assistance each year to help pay those bills. So I'm now going to turn it over to Stacy Cordy to share about this year's scholarships.
This year, $17,850 was awarded to local students through scholarships. Kaylee Overding, a student in Carla Kramer's class, created this awesome scholarship video. And now I'm going to introduce Tammy Marsh. She's going to talk to you about the memorials.
Okay, we're going to remember those who passed away in 2024. The folks who received memorials in their name or were step members were Dave Carlson, Mike Cochran, Leo Hamas, and Levon Winger. Donations given to the general fund were in memory of Dave Carlson, Mike Cochran, Arlene Engelken, Leo Hamas, Richard Sudbeck, and Levon Winger. Memorial donations given to the Centralia Community Fund were given in memory of Melvin Sonny Bourne Jr. Virginia McDonald also received a donation in her memory to the Seneca Free Library Fund. Is there anyone else who passed away that we may have forgotten?
Please pause with me for a moment of silence as we remember those who passed. Thank you. Lastly, we would like to recognize Marciel Hazenkamp and Evelyn Rowland. They were honored this year by donations to the STEP Foundation. Anissa Bloom is up next.
Keeping with the STEP annual themes, we have decided the Monopoly theme for this year will be Where Thoughts Become Reality. There are businesses and groups, families, and individual membership lists in your packets with the new members asterisk. Thank you to all the donors who support the local community foundation. New members in 2024 include Alpha, Choice Solutions LLC, Fox Run C LLC, Sabetha Community Hospital, Seneca Dental, Spring Creek Golf Course, USD 115 Nemaha Central, Dwayne and Chris Anderson, William Brannon family, Dwayne and Lois Crozier, Larry and Evelyn Heinen, Dan Henry family, Jeff and Tiffany Korber, Cleet and Jeannie Kramer, Jay and Tammy Mars, Jeremiah and Renee Meyer, Marlene Price family, Ed and Lynette Strothman, Mark and Chris Studer, and Harlan and Janet Suter. For all the members that have already renewed, including those set up for the automatic payment, we are going to draw for a $50 cash prize. Suter Building Supply. Okay, I think Bonnie's turn.
Well, first off, I promise that wasn't rigged. And second off, Tim already said everything I was supposed to say tonight, so I don't know if he's leaving that open for us to talk about why he did not get Father of the Year. I don't know. But he runner up. Just a couple things just to reiterate what he said. The Patterson Foundation offered a matching grant this year, which we applied for and got for $70,000. We applied again this year, and we just found out today, right, that we don't know how much yet, but we are supposedly hoping to get something. And so also we applied for getting Tori's salary paid for this last year through a grant, which we were able to do. So her whole salary is paid for throughout a grant. And we're hoping to continue to get that growing, or at least get our funds up enough to be able to continue paying her for full-time wages after we run out of grant money. And on that subject, I'd like to say, if anybody knows of a grant that's out there that can help the STEP Foundation, either reach out to Tori, myself, or any of the board members so that we can try to help keep growing the funds. And last but not least, I want to say a special thank you, even though John's not here, John Lehman, for his service from 2017 to 2025. For serving on our board. We appreciate all that John did for us, whether it was walking in the parades, reviewing financials. He was a great sounding board for our meetings. He was always brought something to the meeting. So thank you, John, even though you're not here. We greatly appreciate it. So now I will turn it back over to our fearless leader, Dan, to take over.
Thanks to all the board members for all their input on helping with this. Now it's time, I think we're going to have the election of the officers. The nominees are Rick Smith, Stacy Corey, and Tim Ruttinghouse. Are there any nominations from the floor? Are there any nominations from the floor? Are there any nominations from the floor? I accepted motion for, we cast the unanimous ballot.
I move we cast a unanimous ballot for the directors as submitted.
Quick Kramer seconds it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. All opposed? I want to congratulate Rick on being their newest board member, and Tim and Stacy for staying with us for before. Following this meeting, we will have a reorganizational meeting for the board of directors. And I also like to ask that we will take pictures of all the past board members after the meeting if they'd stick around. And I think we all should give a round of applause and thanks for all the decorations and the cupcakes that Nisa made for dinner. Thank you. And now I'd like a motion for adjournment.
I motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Jeff seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I didn't think they would. Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks, everybody.